You just clicked on my channel. Thank you. I'm Tracy, and my channel is called Life in the Wild West, the art of living. Now, thank you for clicking on this channel, and I hope you'll stick with me because I have a really interesting story to tell. I'm 55. I live in Southern California. I was born and raised here, and I'm going to tell you a little something about myself. Now, this channel, it has a variety of things on it. It's a vlog. It's not for everybody, but if you're here, I hope you'll stay till the end because I think a lot of people might click on my channel and watch for a few minutes and then click away, and they never even get to see the best part. I was tired last night and I went to bed at 10, which is early for me. And then by 12:30, I was awake. And if you are also a creator on here, tell me if this might happen to you. My eyes pop open and all of a sudden, all the thoughts start going and going and going. And I was like, I know what I can talk about tomorrow. And it flows out my brain so effortlessly and just perfectly good. And I know darn well when I get up to get in front of you, I'm going to stumble over my words. I'm going to forget what I even wanted to talk about. And it's not going to come out the same as it did at 1 in the morning, 1:30 in the morning. So I got up and I came downstairs and I got a journal. This one says, so here's the story. And I don't keep my journals in a chronological order. I just grab whatever journal is around. So the journal I happened to grab, it didn't start out during the pandemic, but it got to the pandemic. And I sort of, what I tend to do is I'll sort of skim through and something might pop out and I'll read a little bit of what I may have said in, that time. And I found it very comforting this particular wee morning hours. It's kind of crazy to think that my own words can comfort myself. From an early age, I kept diaries. They were called diaries back then. I still have my first diary, a little nervous to even ever read it. But I've been a journaler off and on my entire life. And the reason being is because I'm very introverted. And I like to say I have the power of invisibility. I have felt a good majority of my life that I am invisible. And I'm not saying that to get attention or like, oh, poor me, I'm invisible. I do consider it to be a superpower because when you aren't seen and you're not heard because you don't talk, you have the ability to listen well. And you can take everything in around you and maybe you see details that other people miss. And so I find that to be my personal superpower. That being said, I get a little intimidated when I'm around others who take center stage because it makes me feel like I don't have much to offer and that all my insecurities start flooding in and things like that. My most recent example I wanted to talk about maybe why I feel invisible and I'm also a very good listener in life. Maybe it has something to do with how I was born, or it could have something to do with family dynamic. My family dynamic is this, and this is going to be my example that is most recent. Father's Day passed very recently, and my sister and I agreed to go see our dad the day before Father's Day because it worked out better for my sister. My sister is 11 and a half years younger than me, and I always felt like her, like a little surrogate mother. I took her places, I picked her up from school, I took her on dates. So that's the dynamic of me and my sister. Ends up, she couldn't make it because she fell ill. So it was just me because my brother, who's 6 years older, lives hundreds of miles away, so he wasn't going to be there for Father's Day. It was me by myself going to visit my dad on Father's Day. So when I got there, we chatted a lot, laughed, he told stories. My dad is a big personality in the sense that he makes you laugh, he tells jokes, he likes to tell stories. He's a big talker. It kind of runs in that side of the family, the Thompson side. They just have the gift of gab, like talk, 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 talk. He is a talker. I'm a listener. I'd say my mom's somewhere in the middle. And so I was sitting there doing a lot of listening, but since my sister wasn't there, my brother wasn't there, I had an opportunity to talk. And at the end of my visit, my dad made a comment and he said, Tracy, this is the most I've heard you talk in your entire life. And I'm 55. Well, I said, yeah, it's because my brother and sister aren't here, for one, because if my sister was there, she is a shining light, and if you were to ever meet her, within the first few minutes of meeting her, she will have you laughing, rolling on the floor laughing at something silly she has said, an impression she has made, or she is just a riot. She could have been on Saturday Night Live. That's the kind of person she is. So imagine that, imagine me. So Amanda, that's my sister, isn't there. My brother never meets a stranger, like never a stranger in his life. He talks to everyone he comes in contact with. And he also has a lot of stories to tell, and he's silly, and they're loud. They're much louder than me in volume even. They're just loud. So think of the dynamic. Now, this isn't a true dynamic of me being the middle one, because he's 6 years older. She's 11 and a half years younger. It's a blended family. So my brother was mostly at his mom's house. I was somewhat of an only child until my sister arrived 11 and a half years later. So it's not the true dynamic of me being the middle child. It's more in, as you read books, that I'm almost like an only child. And because of that, I spent a lot of time alone with myself. And I'm very comfortable with myself. And I believe I've shared this on another episode where I felt most comfortable in my bedroom, and not just in my bedroom, but in my closet, in my dark closet with a flashlight or some sort of lantern, writing or drawing or just having conversations with myself. I had a lot of conversations with myself. And so it makes it to where I have become a very good listener. And I've also noticed that in my life, I attract a lot of big personalities because I'm a good listener and everyone likes to be heard. So most of my friends are louder than me. They're more extroverted than me, and they talk more than me, and I'm a listener. So this has been the pattern of my life for 55 years. I decided I was going to quit my job 2.5 years ago because this life is very short in all regards, and we never know how much time we have left. And I didn't want to be working numbers for years to come when I knew that I actually am a creative spirit. I made the decision to quit my job early, and early meaning I'm not of retirement age. I'm 55. I'm just very, very blessed that I have a working husband who says, do it. Just do it. I can support us. If anyone's had children, we had 3. We were always check to check, even with 2 incomes, and children are expensive. So now that they're all adults and they're pretty much taking care of themselves, we find that we have extra money. And even with me not working, I feel like we have more money than we ever have because we're not taking care of children and feeding children and clothing children and putting them in activities. So we find ourselves in a more comfortable position, which is really nice. So I am able to stay home, which is a blessing. It's a blessing to stay home. And so I decide after 6 months of not working, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I had thought about it for years and never pulled the trigger, so to speak, but I decided I was going to make a YouTube channel. And I wanted to tell you what this channel has done for me is it's given me a voice. It's given me a platform to share my life. Sometimes I share my heart on here. Sometimes I cook with with the boys in the kitchen. I bake with Austin. I make healthy meals with Dylan. I used to, when RJ lived here in the States, she's still in the States. When she lived in this state, we did a lot of running around together. We would try new places to eat. We loved to thrift together. And I would record that. Sometimes I would record me creating and making something, drawing something in my journal. I would tell you a story about how Ezekiel went missing, and each video leading up to him coming home, I would talk about how I missed him and how he was going to come home, what I might have found on the curb and what I was going to do with it, or when I put my library up, or when I found the lamp to hang over the dining room table. Today, in fact, I am going to be repainting the face of the staircase, maybe. Maybe I'll work on it a little bit. Currently, it's sort of like a rainbow, but not exactly. And this weekend, when I was at Michael's, which is a craft store, I found little paints, and I thought, I'm going to repaint the face of the staircase. And so that might happen today in some capacity. And then I also, over the weekend, I watched Victoria Coleman's 1 hour and a half class on how to make paper mache sculptures. So I have paper, I cut all my paper and put it in a bowl last night, and it's soaked overnight. And I made my little, whatever, sculptures that I don't even know how this is going to work. But I'm going to give it a good try. And so that could happen today. And then all of a sudden, I wanted to talk to you. And I wanted to tell you that the person you see here is not the person I am in the world. And that is why it took me 2 years to do my first live, because I was literally terrified. I am so quiet that I, at one point during this YouTube journey, I'll call it, was afraid to even click on somebody's live because they might see me. I now know that you can't see someone when you click on a live. You have to talk to them for them to even know you're there. I have now graduated to that point. I know a lot of creators in this community. I've been invited to creator groups, and I was in one creator group at the beginning of this journey, and I quickly jumped out of that group because it was too overwhelming for me. I've been invited to another group, which I've declined because it would be too overwhelming for me. I've been invited to lives that are group settings that I've declined because it's very overwhelming for me. And I always do better by myself. I am a solo, by myself person because that is who I've been most of my life. I am most comfortable with me talking to myself, which translates to talking to you, and that is how my channel goes. And I love to dance. Somehow, this channel has evolved into me dancing at the end of my videos. And I would never dance in public. It's terrifying to me. Although on our wedding day, I did dance most of the time by myself without Rich. Because when I'm in a very high state of like high endorphins, sometimes those things might happen and it just doesn't matter where I'm at. But mostly, I don't feel comfortable dancing in public. I'm going to work on that though, because I have the ability to do hard things. And this channel has made it to where I've grown as a person. If anything else, this channel is just for me to express myself, to be who I genuinely am, and to share it with you, and hoping it'll someday translate into the real world. But in the meantime, I'm a really good listener, and I'm a really good observer, and I love to share with you what I call the little big things. I often make films at the beginning of my videos of things I find beautiful, and my main purpose is to just live a life well lived, and to pay attention to the things around me, and to honor people, and to be a good human. I just care about being me. So if you're here for me, I want to thank you so much. And if you stick around on this channel and you subscribe and you like and you do all the things, you'll be able to see how I do things around here. And I hope that I can be a light in sometimes a world that is very dark. So until next time, peace, love, and keep going.